If your reflux and heartburn feel completely unpredictable, like your symptoms flare even when you haven't changed anything about your diet, today's installment of our summer podcast series is going to explain why. Because your symptoms are not random, they are your body responding to things that are happening beneath the surface that most people are never told to look at. So today we are talking about the hidden drivers of reflux and heartburn that go way beyond food and stomach acid, and why understanding this piece of the puzzle is what finally makes everything start to make sense. Welcome to the Stomach Solution, the podcast for all you high achievers out there who are tired of managing your reflux, heartburn, and stomach pain and are ready for a solution that lasts. I'm Jessica Washington, functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner and former reflux sufferer myself, so I know firsthand what it feels like to do everything right and still feel like your stomach is working against you. So, if you're ready to dig into your symptoms, hidden root causes, the ones that diet changes and supplements just won't touch, get comfy, take a deep breath, and let's uncover the solution to your stomach issues together. And as a reminder, this podcast is for educational purposes only and is not a replacement for medical advice or treatment. Hello, welcome back to the Stomach Solution, where we are chatting all about how to calm your reflux and heartburn symptoms without putting your life on hold and without needing to restrict your diet forever and take handfuls and handfuls of expensive supplements. And today is going to be a good one. We are digging into the hidden driver of reflux and heartburn that most doctors ignore. And if you've ever been to a GI or your primary care doctor because of your symptoms, you've probably been given one solution and one solution only. And if you're here, that solution probably didn't work for you like many, many other people, because you can be taking all of the right medications and still have reflux and heartburn. You can be following the perfect diet and still have symptom flares. You can be avoiding the coffee, the spicy foods, the tomato sauce, the chocolate, all of the things you enjoy, and all of the things that people usually blame when you hear people talking about reflux and heartburn. And you can still be finding yourself dealing with burning and pressure and nausea after meals. And if you're someone who has been trying really hard to do all of the right things, this is where it starts to feel especially frustrating. And I'm so glad you're here, because we are going to clear up all of that frustration and give you that straight and direct path to a lasting relief. Because I know a lot of those frustrations lie in you not wanting to have symptoms. That's, I'm sure, your primary goal here. But it's also frustrating that your symptoms don't seem to be following any sort of clear rules or procedures like a lot of other people's tend to be doing, or at least a lot of other people. So, in this episode, we're going to talk about why reflux and heartburn can feel so unpredictable, and we're going to touch on those deeper drivers behind your symptoms that most people are never told to look at. Because once you understand this piece of the reflux and heartburn puzzle, a lot of what has felt confusing and frustrating will start to make a lot more sense. So if you have been dealing with symptoms for a while, if you've been doing all the things, restricting your diet, taking the supplements, you have probably started noticing patterns that don't really fit this food and stomach acid explanation we have kind of been working on dismantling in the last few episodes. For example, your symptoms might flare up maybe during a stressful week, or maybe when you're not sleeping well because the kids are sick and you have to take care of them in the middle of the night. Or maybe when you're feeling a little bit more constipated or backed up, you'll notice you have more symptoms. Or potentially after taking antibiotics or being sick yourself for a while. Or maybe just because you're running around all the time, managing all of the things, taking all of the people to all of the places, and your days are just exhausting and your symptoms are just constant, even though you ate all the right foods and took all the right supplements. And I know from experience, being a mom myself, that can all be so frustrating because you're just living your life as a mom, as someone who has all of these responsibilities and tasks to complete and people to take care of. And you're doing all the right things for your own health, but you're not seeing the results that maybe other people are seeing or that you know that you can see. And you're following the rules, you're feeling like you've figured out what works, and you stick to that plan, and your body is still reactive and symptomatic, and you're tired of it. And I know that when you're juggling all of your responsibilities, things like kids and schedules and everything that just needs your attention throughout the day, those unpredictable and seemingly random symptom flares aren't just inconvenient, they're disruptive and they prevent you from being the mom and the wife and just the present human that you want to be. You're maybe trying to help with homework or make dinner or just enjoy your kids and be present with your family. And instead, half of your attention is pulled back into your stomach and the nausea and just the burping and the symptoms that you are doing everything in your power to manage, but nothing's really helping. And over time, this unpredictability and just constant barrage of symptoms, it can start to feel really unsettling because you're staying on top of things, you're doing what you need to do, and your body is just not responding consistently. And so that can make it feel like you're losing control of something that should be very manageable. And maybe you find yourself thinking like, why are my symptoms worse when I didn't eat anything different? I've been following the exact same diet, eating these same foods every day, yet symptoms feel like they don't care about what you're eating. And it may make you think that you're missing something and you need to dig deeper and you need to search more and figure more things out and try different supplements. And instead of feeling confident in what you're doing, you start second guessing everything. And that can almost always make symptoms worse. Just the cognitive dissonance you can have around doing all of the right things, but not getting predictable, consistent results. And the reasons that this can feel so confusing and frustrating is because the most common explanations out there for reflux and heartburn focus almost entirely on those surface level things that you can control and manage, right? Like the food, your stomach acid that's causing the burning and the pain, and the supplements that you can use to calm your symptoms. And even though it feels like you're doing a lot, and please know you are doing a lot, but it's just the things that you're doing are only touching the surface of your symptoms, and your symptoms are influenced by more than what you can see on the surface. For example, if your digestion is slower than it needs to be, if your stomach is not producing enough stomach acid, if your stomach lining is irritated, if your microbiome is out of balance, if you have mineral imbalances, if your nervous system is in a constant state of stress, all of those things are going to influence those surface level symptoms that you see. And those surface level management strategies like diet changes and supplements and acid lowering medication are not going to touch these deeper hidden drivers of your symptoms. And so when even a few of those pieces are off and out of balance and not working properly, reflux and heartburn become much more likely, not just after certain foods, but in a way that can feel really inconsistent and hard to predict. And so what looks like your body being random is actually your body responding to these changing internal and often external conditions that maybe you don't think are necessarily related to your gut and your stomach function. Things like your sleep, your stress levels, your digestion, your overall stress load. And this is especially important if you're anything like me and a lot of the clients that I work with, and you're used to just pushing through your day. You're just powering through, you're getting things done, you're taking care of everyone else because your body doesn't separate those tasks and stressors that are just normal part of everyday mom life from stressors that can disrupt normal digestion. And when your system is under more strain, your gut, your stomach, and digestion are one of the first things to be affected. Anytime that your body is feeling stress, whether that comes from a night of poor sleep or from just being busy and having a lot of schedules to manage and a lot of things to do during your day, because your body can't distinguish between stress that is from a night of poor sleep or just having a full plate that day with a lot of things and schedules and running around to do, which are just normal parts of mom life, and between things like running from a tiger or getting in a car accident or like having a burglar break into your house. To your body, those stressors, although they seem drastically different for you, your body perceives them the same way. And so instead of your body being unpredictable, it's actually responding very logically in your body's eyes to what's happening beneath the surface with your stress levels and just how your body interprets and handles how you're going throughout your day. And once you understand this truth, this is when things can really start to shift and you start to view your symptoms and just your life in general in a very different light. Because instead of just having a singular focus of trying to control every bite of food and being very specific and particular about the foods that you eat so that you don't avoid symptom flare-ups, you can start looking at what your body is dealing with at that time that you had a symptom flare up. Like maybe was your stress higher that day? Did you sleep poorly the night before? Was your digestion already backed up? Were you rushing through meals? Because those factors that are never talked about matter so much, just as much, if not more, than the food itself. And they can contribute to symptoms just as much, if not more, than what you're eating. And when you can start to see your symptoms and what your body is experiencing through that lens, your symptoms stop feeling random and they, again, start feeling like feedback. They start feeling like communication from your body. And so, the first thing that I always tell clients to do when we're trying to work through this maze of their symptoms and why they're feeling unpredictable and what's going on in their life at the time, I just have them like take an audit of your day. So maybe one day you have to go pick up your kid at school for baseball practice and you didn't have time to eat lunch. And so you're eating lunch either running out the door or you're bringing it with you in the car. And then an hour later, while you're sitting at baseball practice, you're wondering why you're having reflux and heartburn. And so if you can just take stock of what's going on throughout your day and all of the inputs that you're giving your body, you can start to unravel this maze that seems very unpredictable and random and start to put the pieces together like, oh, yeah, I'm probably having symptoms now because I ate lunch in 2.3 seconds in the car on my way to pick up my kid. And it can all start to make so much more sense. And so, if your symptoms have been feeling super unpredictable and like you just can't get a handle on things, there's 100% a reason for that. Your digestion is influenced by more than you think. And when all of those systems are stressed and under strain, your stomach becomes so much more reactive, which is why focusing only on food or trying to follow the perfect diet often does not solve the problem because the real drivers of your symptoms are happening beneath the surface. And when you start to unravel and understand those patterns, you can move out of the cycle of confusion and into a place where your symptoms actually start to make sense. And so now that we've talked about, and hopefully you're beginning to understand that your symptoms are not random and they're not just about food and they're definitely not about lowering stomach acid, the next question naturally becomes, what does it actually take to fix this? So, in the next episode, we're going to start talking about that, which is going to be so exciting. And I'm going to walk you through the three big things that your stomach actually needs in order to heal so that you can do things like stop chasing symptoms, stop avoiding all of the foods that you actually want to eat, stop spending all your free money on pills that who knows if they're doing anything, and actually start creating real lasting change and real lasting improvements. So, cannot wait for this next one, and I will see you there. Thank you so much for tuning into the Stomach Solution. If you got something valuable out of today's episode, please subscribe to the show and leave a rating and review wherever you're listening. It takes about 30 seconds and makes a huge difference in helping this show reach the people who need it the most. And if you're ready to dig even deeper into what's going on with your gut, come find me on Instagram at The Gut Healing Ninja, or head to thegуthealingninja.com to get more resources and strategies to help you heal. And remember, there is a solution to your stomach issues, and we will find it together.